and welcome to iBuzz. I'm your host Nosheen Bukhari, bringing you the best and latest entertainment news, followed by a discussion on the supporting actors. First things first, let me quickly take you to the top stories of the day. Nomadland wins Oscar for Best Picture. Anthony Hopkins and Frances McDormand won Best Actors. The Walking Dead showrunner Angela Kang teases season 11 to be bigger than ever. With cinemas shut and films that may have not seen Oscars ceremony this year is very different. Joey Alwyn wins first Grammy Award for his contributions to Taylor Swift album Folklore. Eminem partners with Gemini's Nifty Gateway to launch his first NFT. Coming to our top story of the day. The stars brought glamour to this year's unconventional Oscars ceremony. With Anthony Hopkins and Frances McDormand winning the Best Actors Award, this year's Oscars vibe was very different. To discuss this further, we have a broadcaster and a television presenter, Alacey Brooks, with us. Alacey, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you so much for having me on. I'm very excited to chat with you today.
And then we have Afua Adom, who is a journalist and a broadcaster. Afua, welcome.
Hi.
Right. So, Alacey, tell us about your feelings for the entire event. Of course, both of you have seen the Oscars last night. Tell us, how did you feel about the event, especially Chloe Zhao making a history and receiving her award in her traditional Chinese attire? What were your thoughts?
Yeah, well, I think, everything that's going on in the world right now, I think the Oscars was such a pinnacle moment of moving forward and, reminding people of old times. Mm-hmm. I think the fact that they managed to put the Oscars on, and I think they did a really, really, really great job, actually. So the event as a whole, I think it was very much needed. Everyone who got the awards, I think, was even just happy to be there. I think it was just that the fact the Oscars went ahead was so great. And them deciding to, do it in person and not on Zoom, I think was another big decision, but really great one, actually. And like you say, yes, Chloe winning the Oscar, I think is, again, a massive pinnacle moment. The first Asian woman to win a director, second woman to win director ever. I think that was a huge moment. And like you say, the outfit she was wearing, again, I have to say, I thought it was great.
Right. And Afua, tell us about your thoughts on it. Of course, Chloe didn't have a very easy time while making the movie and after the release, when she was also criticized for changing the main storyline of the book. And a lot of Amazon, the part that revolved around Amazon, it was, ignored in the movie, and it was just about the woman and her struggles. How do you feel about Chloe winning? Being a Chinese woman representing American culture, how do you see this?
Well, it was a historic category for directing, because you had two women nominated, which has never happened before. Yeah. And we've talked a lot about diversity in the Oscars, not just about when it comes to Black representation and Asian representation, but when it comes to female representation as well. So I think it was a great moment for Chloe Zhao, definitely, to pick up this Oscar. Nomadland has been, like you said, a controversial pick, but one that lots of people have loved. Frances McDormand, of course, picked up her third Oscar for Best Actress for this film as well. And I think it's one that obviously has gone down really well with the critics, maybe not necessarily so with people who read the book and enjoyed it, but that's about artistic license, and that is about what picking up an Oscar is about taking that artistic license, applying it to your craft and moving forward. So I think it's a historic win for Chloe Zhao, historic win for that film, which picked up 3 prizes, and of course a historic win for Frances McDormand, which I think can't be forgotten as well.
Right. And Alacey, this was already predicted. Looking at BAFTA awards, the winners were the same, almost the same this year's Oscars. I mean, Nomadland was already predicted, and then, you know, we had some traditional winners again, Anthony Hopkins. Do you think that the jury didn't do much and, you know, they looked up to BAFTA? Or do you think that this was actually justified, Nomadland winning BAFTA and then the Oscars, and then Anthony Hopkins for his movie, for his, of course, a remarkable performance in the movie Father? Do you think it's justified, or there were a lot of spaces for other movies and other actors as well?
I think there's always going to be other spaces for amazing actors and actresses and incredible films. However, no, I think that they picked a really, really great array of, you know, directors. Like we say, we had male and female, all from different cultures. I think that the nominees were, I think they were justified, you know. And Nomadland was such a great film. You know, The Other Promising Young Woman was another really great film, that something we've never seen before, actually.
Yeah, even Minari.
I don't think, exactly. All those films, I think, are films that we've never really seen before. And I think the creative on them was really great. So no, I think the nominees were very much deserved. I think, you know, the choices that they picked were things we had never seen before. And I think that was really nice, and a really, again, pinnacle moment of movement, of, you know, recognizing that people are doing other things now, and storytelling in different ways, and writing and acting in different ways. So yeah, like you say, we had the classics like Anthony Hopkins and things like that. But no, I think the diversity was there, and I think they did really well.
Right. And Afua, what are your thoughts? Do you think that this was a traditional win, or do you think the other way around?
I think it was a traditional win. I personally was disappointed to not see Chadwick Boseman pick up that prize posthumously. As you know, he had an amazing but short-lived career, and his performance in Ma Rainey's Black Bottom was absolutely incredible.
Yes, and a lot of people were expecting for him to be the winner.
Absolutely, you're absolutely right about that. We were expecting him to be the winner. Don't get me wrong, Anthony Hopkins, an incredible performance in The Father, the oldest Oscar winner we've ever had at 83 years old, and you know, a widely tipped film. And they say that it's very secular with him, that you know, every sort of decade or so he puts in a performance of his life, and this certainly was one of them. But I think it would have been great to see Chadwick Boseman honoured in this way at the Academy Awards for his performance, which was one of his very last, and was absolutely incredible. But Anthony Hopkins, certainly a worthy winner. Give us a bit of a twist at the end of the night. For me, Daniel Kaluuya picking up Best Supporting Actor was the standout moment of the night. The first and only Black British actor to ever do that. He thanked everybody from London to Kampala and everybody in between, and talked about his mother. You know, he said, "Thank you for giving me your factory setting so I could go forth and do this." And that for me was a real standout moment. You know, his performance as Fred Hampton in Jesus and the Black Messiah was just phenomenal, and that was definitely rewarded. But like I said, I would have liked to see Chadwick Boseman pick up a prize as well.
Right. Tell us about your feelings on the diversity this time. Do you think that it was well balanced? I mean, Daniel Kaluuya winning for his performance in Judas and the Black Messiah, and then Yuan Yu Zhang for Minari. Alacey, what do you think? Do you think that diversity was maintained this time? It was well balanced, or still do you think that Oscars need to put in more effort?
Look, again, I think Oscars always need to put in more effort. I think society needs to put in more effort. I think there's always more that could be done. But actually, no, I'm going to really stand by the Oscars again. And I think, you know, delivering such a hard event during COVID times, I think they did the best that they could. And then in terms of diversity, I think, you know, we'd had such pinnacle moments where we had 2 women in the you know, director nominees. That's never happened before. You know, and like we're saying, the nominees wearing their own cultural clothes, and no, I think that they hit the diversity well. Like you say, I think always more can be done. I think you know, I would have liked to seen different people from even more different cultures and winning, not just being nominated as well. But you know, like you say, with Daniel and with Chloe and 2 women up for directors, and Emerald winning as well. She won for the you know, best director for debut feature film. Again, you know, first woman for that, to do that. So I think that diversity and the Oscars can always do more.
Right.
Always. And I think next year they should strive for even more diversity. Let's bring people from all different cultures and actually give them the win, because it's lovely to have them nominated as well. But I think it's important that we do highlight that they should win as well, and they should also be recognised. And we shouldn't be having firsts anymore. We shouldn't be having first women, you know, first people from different cultures. That should be done by now. So I think firsts need to be faded out. Right. And I think one of the nominees actually said this in their speech, and then it just should be normal. So yeah, I think Oscars always have more work to be done. But I think under the circumstances, I think, you know, getting rid of those firsts, which they did last night, by having the women and things like that, I think they did all right.
Right. And Afua, what are your thoughts? Are you happy about it, or do you still see that there is a lot to be done? You know, a lot of work is still required to bring in more people of color, bring in more people of ethnicity, and then the right kind of cultural representation should be there. What do you think of it?
I think really what this is about the work behind the scenes that the Academy have done. So recruiting more members who are from more diverse backgrounds so that they can have more an influence on voting. That's what it's all about. And I think the pandemic has been a gift because it's given people time to actually sit down and watch the films. And that's been something that's been talked about a lot in the past, that people who judge the films don't actually have time to watch them. And that's a real thing, to have sit down and have time to watch the screeners and be able to get through all of them, get through a diverse bunch of them. That's what's been a gift this season, as well as the Academy bucking up their ideas and getting in people of more diverse backgrounds. Now, we are still going to have firsts, like the first Black British actor to win something, because we need to have those firsts to break down those barriers, to be milestones on the road to true diversity and true equality. I believe that we are doing that. I believe that we're on our way. You know, it was great to see more women in directing roles. It's great to see much more Asian representation in there. We have much more to do. We need to see much more diverse representation from Black backgrounds, from Muslim backgrounds, from Asian backgrounds, from disabled backgrounds, from the LGBTQ plus community. That needs to happen as well. But that's about getting more diverse people on the board of the Academy who decide who the winners are in the first place and who take the time and care enough to watch the screeners. So yes, we've made some strides this year, but there's always more work that can be done. Now, in terms of people dressing in more cultural dress, I think, again, that's a gift of the pandemic, that people are so excited to be back on the red carpet because, you know, we haven't had proper in-person award ceremonies for a whole year, if not more. So I think people really showed out, you know, on the red carpet, and that was amazing to see. So I think that created that opportunity for people to do that.
Right. Alacey and Afua, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
That was Afua and Alacey with us, sharing their thoughts on the Oscars that happened last night. Moving to our other story details now. Showrunner Angela Kang revealed that The Walking Dead's final and 11th season will have some major differences from show's previous pattern. Not only will the new season have more episodes than its previous ones, but will have a very different tone. As per the report, it has been confirmed that AMC's zombie drama will be coming back for the final season with 24 episodes instead of the standard 16. With cinemas shut and films that many have not seen, Oscars ceremony this year is very different. Award audiences have been declining, and the challenge is even greater when most filmgoers have not seen the films in theaters. Every year since 1929, the Academy has ensured the Oscars must go on. But in a year when no industry has been immune to the devastating impact of COVID-19, it's hard to see how the 93rd Oscars have been pulled in a big audience. With a guest list of only 170 people this time, the ceremony was unable to keep the traditional vibe this year. Joey Alwyn is officially listed as a Grammy Award winner. The British actor, who is 30 years old, recently became a recipient of a gramophone trophy as part of the team who contributed to his girlfriend Taylor Swift's latest Album of the Year win. Alwyn previously was known under the pseudonym William Bowery on her 8th studio album, Folklore, and co-wrote the songs Exile and Betty. Just in time for Oscar Sunday, iconic rapper and Oscar winner for Lose Yourself in 2003, Eminem, in partnership with Nifty Gateway, has unveiled his first NFT at Shady Con. The world-famous artist born Marshall Mathers is the latest in line of celebrities, musicians, and athletes getting in on the NFT craze. Eminem has partnered with Nifty Gateway, the NFT platform owned by Gemini, to release his first NFT April 24th. Like we all know, you can never go wrong with Eminem. We will be right back after a quick short break. Stay tuned. Welcome back. In this segment, we will be talking about the plight of supporting actor. Supporting actor. It's an actor who performs a role in a play or film below that of the leading actor and above that of a bit. In recognition of important nature of this work, the theater and film industry give separate awards to the best supporting actors and actresses. But many times their services are overlooked, ignored, and taken over by the main lead. To discuss this further, we have Mayank Shekhar from India, who happens to be a film critic. Mayank, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Right. So, Mayank, we have seen amazing actors who have given in so much to a certain movie in order to, even empower the lead actors. But then again, their services, their skills, they're not recognized. What do you think the reason behind this lack of recognition for supporting actors is?
Well, I think to a huge extent, the kind of cinema we've always grown up on is largely, and especially, of the sort which are huge in terms of the spectacle and in terms of its scale, they tend to be heroes' journeys, hugely, sort of inspired by mythologies in a certain sense. And that's what really your superhero films are. And then there is a person who sort of saves the world in a lot of disaster films. And so there is a tendency to believe that a film is centered on one character. Whereas it's impossible for that character to exist or shine unless that actor is also reacting with a lot of other characters on the screen. So yes, there is a lot of weightage given to the lead actor, and it's almost like a winner takes all, whether it's award shows or in general, you look at the kind of fame and the popularity they receive for playing the lead roles, as if the other roles are not equally important, and they probably aren't in terms of the level of appearance in the film itself or the importance of the character to the story per se. But I think it's impossible for one person to pull off a show, and it's impossible for a film to be only about that one character. And in that sense, I think what happens is, how then do you even decide what's a supporting actor? Now, yes, you do have a category in the awards of a supporting actor, but what if there's someone who appears for only 5 minutes on the screen and ends up leaving a far greater impact than someone who's always there? Is it only by the order of appearances? So I think one of the things that we do not see in awards, as a film critic here in India, I tend to sort of be involved in a lot of awards that we give out, whether it's to do with web shows or it's to do with films, of course. And there's one of the things that I always insist on is at least one award for an ensemble cast, where it's about various people who came together and each one outshone the other to a point that the film became what it did. So if you take this year's Oscars, for instance, you take a film like Trial of Chicago 7, which was in their reckoning for the best film and best screenplay also. Now, how do you decide who's the supporting actor there? Everyone is excellent. Everyone plays off the other, but because no one in particular has that long a sequence, no one really gets nominated for best actor or lead actor or a supporting actor. But it's impossible to tell one great performance from the other in a real sense, is it? Likewise, you take a film like Nomadland. Sure, there is Frances McDormand, who is the lead actor, by a mile. but you look at the non-professional actors who are playing themselves. Why would you not recognize that? And of course, they won't make it to the supporting actor cut because the roles aren't lengthy enough. But there should be a category for best ensemble cast where even if it's 7 or 8 people, they should win this together, because all of them not reacting and not playing off each other is a terrible film to watch.
Right, right. Also, Mayank, we have seen that sometimes the representation of the supporting actors, it's so wonderful and so remarkable, like the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and then we have Game of Thrones, in which we have several supporting actors, but each one of them have their own identity, the way they were represented. But then we have like a lot of great characters who have been, putting in so much hard work, but then not the same amount of recognition was given to them. Do you think that it's the mistake of filmmakers, the way they represent a certain supporting character? Is that the reason behind it?
Well, I think it has far more to do with the medium rather than filmmakers, and film per se, because of the time that you spend with it, and most of them are not going to be longer than 2 hours, really allows for only that much storytelling in terms of characters. So you have to sort of build yourself around one central theme and one central figure. I think web shows have completely changed that. And I'm glad that you gave the example of Game of Thrones. In fact, you can use that same example to practically every great web show, web series that you've seen lately. And if Lord of the Rings was made in 2021, I have a feeling it would have been like a Game of Thrones, a series as well, a proper series to be watched over, 10 or 15 episodes per season. Right? So I think what happens there is you can actually develop and let a character evolve beyond just simply the basic ticks that we know them for. And there can be sub-chapters and subplots that are as long as movies themselves. You can have a 2-hour-long subplot with a character who just shows up in the middle of a series and probably comes back in the second season, for all we know. And thereafter, you sort of see that character develop, and you see the actor for a longer, in terms of length, for much longer. And that's where you really see the supporting cast, as it were, getting the kind of importance that they've always deserved, which in the case of popular cinema, at least, has not been the case.
Right, right. And not only in real life, but in real life, a supporting actor, they go through a lot of struggle. There's a lot of pressure on the supporting character in order to, sustain their character, especially when they have to be with the lead character. So do you think when the focus starts to lack from the supporting actor, and at times sadly we have, come across statements like, a sidekick or somebody who is next to the hero or the lead characters. And these are kind of very heartbreaking statements for supporting actors. So do you think, again, it's the responsibility of a writer to give strength to a supporting actor in order to, sustain their character and deal with the pressure that they're in?
Absolutely. I think sidekick is a stereotype, and it's a phenomenon of really bad writing, very lazy writing. So you think of someone as a hero's friend, you think of someone who's just there serving a purpose of just pure comedy, or serving a purpose of being the buddy, as it were, in an action sequence. And these are all genre films, and you see far more of them in pure genre movies because they're made under a certain template. But that said, there are certain actors who so rise above their characters, their roles, they so rise above what is written for them. I'll give you a great example, right? I recently, I'm just thinking, it's coming to my mind because I just recently interviewed Arshad Warsi. I'm sure you've heard of him. He's a very popular Bollywood actor. But if you see his entire career, he's always been the second guy. He's hardly ever been the first guy. He's hardly ever been the lead. Now, but you take a film like Munna Bhai, there is no Munna Bhai without a circuit.
Exactly.
You take a film like Ishqiya, there is no Nasir's character without Babban's character, that is Arshad Warsi. And all through, he's either been in, very popular franchise films like a Golmaal or a Dhamal, which are these, comedy franchise movies, ensemble cast films, or he's been the second lead, as it were. But people love him because a good portion of acting, as I said earlier, is reacting. You're not just acting toward a camera. You're not just acting for yourself. You're responding to a situation, and the situation is usually another person. And he's made a career out of it, and he's done really well for himself as that guy. So it's also to do, and if you take the example of Munna Bhai, for instance, it's a role that wasn't so long on paper. It's something that he added to. He gave that black uniform to Circuit. He gave a lot of lines to circuit, and then the filmmakers began to see this genuinely working. This interplay is actually working for the comedy that the film is supposed to elicit. So a few actors have managed to rise above the material, but if the material is going to typecast you, and if you're always a cop, and if you're always the sidekick, if you're always the extra, if you're always the buddy, it's too bad. And a lot of actors, a lot of great actors have fallen into the trap in the past in any case.
That was Mayank Shekhar with his thoughts on the struggle of supporting actors. And that is it from our Oscar special episode. We hope you liked it. Don't forget to share your feedback on the social media link mentioned down below. We will be right back next time with some more refreshing content. Until then, take care and goodbye.